We're here at the Tinkan Island port, Nigeria's leading seaport, where a transaction was done between Panafrican Equipment and Dangote Group. This transaction is worth $35 million to enable the Dangote Sugar Group to improve its production as part of the backward integration policy of President Goodluck Jonathan. This deal should open up a new chapter in industrialization in Nigeria.
The Dangote Sugar Group is one business entity that has the corporate belief in a Nigeria, nay African economy that can deliver sustainable value based on its ability to process its own natural resources. The acquisition of the equipment from Pan-African Group shows once again the belief in the backward integration plan of this government, which is aggressively focusing on agricultural production, which should boost Nigeria's competitiveness. On the 1st of February 2014, at the Tinkan Island Port Complex, officials of both Dangote Sugar Group and Pan-African Equipment gathered for the formal handing over ceremony of the newly purchased equipment. The Group Managing Director of Pan-African Equipment, Mr. Scott McCaw, is excited about the opportunity to partner with Dangote Sugar Group on this expansion project.
Now we hear about this landmark transaction with Dangote, supplying them equipment worth $35 million. Now, what does this mean for the business of Dangote sugar production?
Well, I think for us, there's a couple of things. One, obviously, it gives them the machinery required to start the land clearing, which is obviously the first step to the sugar production. And then, obviously, we'll continue to work with them for other projects with the use of those machines, as well as maintaining those machines. So they'll use it for land clearing, road maintenance, and other activities in and around the sugar production site.
Tell us about Pan-African Equipment. How long have they been in business and what has been their impact in supplying valuable equipment?
Sure. Pan-African's been in business since about 1997. We started off in Kenya and we've grown into Tanzania, Ghana, Nigeria, and now we're just entering the Sierra Leone market. So it's been an interesting growth period for us as we extend to the different markets. For Nigeria, we've been involved since about 2010, 2011. And I think what we like about and what we're excited about with this transaction is it really shows now the Nigerian market acceptance to us being here. We've invested heavily in an infrastructure and a service support team. We've invested heavily in training, and now we've got a transaction like that that allows us to continue to grow, both in terms of our technicians, our service, and obviously make penetration into additional customers within the territory.
For the Group Managing Director of Dangote Sugar Group, Mr. Graham Clark, it is a milestone for the company on its journey to attaining massive production of about 1.5 million metric tons of sugar per annum from local sugar cane in the country.
Good morning, Mr. Graham Clark.
Morning.
Congratulations. We just heard about this landmark transaction between Pan-African Equipment selling worth of $35 million equipment to Dangote Group. Now, how is this going to enable the Dangote sugar production in Nigeria?
Well, our production in Nigeria is going to be from farms in Nigeria. So in order to bring them into production, we need to develop the land, we need to put in the infrastructure such as roads and canals and dams in order to be able to prepare the fields to plant the sugar cane from which we'll make the sugar. So all this equipment here will help us kickstart that development. That's what we need it for.
Now, what was the considerations and criteria of choosing Komatsu, that's Pan-African Equipment? There are other equipment companies in the world that supply this. What was that criteria?
I think Komatsu equipment does have a good reputation. It's adaptable to African conditions, and I think it was cost effective for us. These projects do cost a lot of money, so it's important for us to get our equipment at the right price, and Pan-Africa were able to do that for us.
Now, in view of the backward integration policy of Mr. President, how will this transaction leverage on especially the sugar production?
The Dangote Group is probably taking a lead in backward integration in sugar. So I think, within the policy framework that we have now, we've started to mobilize. So we have machinery at work already in Adamawa State, getting development going on the fields, and that will now continue. So I think we've moved very quickly ahead of everybody else in actually embracing backward integration and making it happen.
And what are your prospects in terms of not just Nigeria, but in terms of the industrialization in Africa? What do you see in the next 5 years coming through these operations?
There's significant opportunity, especially in West Africa, greater part of North Africa. But for us, Nigeria must come first. We see Nigeria as our first market. It's the market we want to supply first. If we can get to a point where we have a surplus in Nigeria, we can export it. So that'll be the start point for us, Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Mr. Graham, for the time.
Thank you very much.
Indeed, the Dangote Sugar Group is setting the pace for local content production and development in Nigeria, which is pivotal to industrialization and economic transformation.